Alright, so as promised, here's the video on the Pedal Commander. So for those of you who haven't heard of it, the Pedal Commander is like a device that you hook up to cars with electronic throttles, and it doesn't increase performance at all. It just fixes the throttle lag. So like the throttle response between how much you press on the throttle and how much the throttle plate in the engine opens. The main reason that I bought it is to get it to feel more like my analog E30, and it's just a 1-to-1 ratio. However much you press down on the throttle plate opens. Like I said, I wanted to get my Subaru to feel more like that because the Subaru has an electronic throttle, and given that it is a manual, I thought it felt a little weird to drive with the throttle lag of an electronic throttle. So I bought the Pedal Commander. Alright, so now that you saw the unboxing and the installation of the Pedal Commander, I think there's only one thing left to do, and that's drive the car. So like I said in my last video, at the moment the car is mostly stock. It's got 170 horsepower, a muffler delete, and the Pedal Commander, of course, in a 5-speed manual. I'm not expecting it to have more power. Like, it's a sub 200 horsepower car that weighs 3,000 pounds. It's never not gonna be slow without major engine work, but I'm expecting it to be a bit more snappy, like E30 levels of snappy, hopefully. So yeah, let's take it out for a drive. But first, because it's a Subaru and I would like to minimize my chances of blowing it up, I'm gonna warm it up. All right, so the car's warmed up and I'm about to take it for a drive, but I just want to show you the module itself. So this is the Pedal Commander. It's actually pretty small. It's gonna be really easy to hide in my interior so you don't see like this cable sitting everywhere. But right now I have it in city mode. So there are 4 modes that the Pedal Commander comes with, or at least 4 main modes: Eco, City, Sport, and Sport Plus. From what I've read about it, Eco reduces your throttle response, which is supposed to give you better gas mileage. I don't know about that. Maybe with an automatic car. City is supposed to be a 1-to-1 ratio, I think, or maybe Sport is. City makes it a little bit more responsive than stock. Sport is more responsive than that, and Sport Plus makes it super responsive like a race car. I actually did try driving on Sport Plus already. From a stop, it's kind of impossible in a manual car unless you really have a feather foot, because I'd start to rev it up before I let out the clutch and it would just rev up super fast and uncontrollable. I don't know. I'm probably just gonna use Sport and City. But yeah, it also has these settings in the bottom, which you can manually increase or decrease the sensitivity of the pedal. In addition to this, the Pedal Commander does come with Bluetooth. So if you have a phone mount, you can hook it up to your phone and they have an app and you can control all of this stuff through your phone instead of having to click buttons on the Pedal Commander. But I think that's about it, so we should just drive this thing. So like I said before, 2011 Impreza, it's only got 170 horsepower. It's the most horsepower that a non-turbo Impreza was optioned with. So it's pretty well off for a non-turbo Impreza. Ooh, I can already feel it's better. Yeah, now the car responds just by barely touching the throttle. Before you had to put the throttle down a bunch and then it would go, but yeah, just this low speed stuff is already showing me it's made a difference. On to the left. Driving it with a manual feels a hell of a lot better too. A lot smoother. Oh yeah. Actually heel toe shift now. Before it was really hard to heel toe shift. Heel toe shifting is you press the brake a little bit with your toe and then you throttle up with your heel and downshift. But before, when you heel toe downshift in this car, you have to press the throttle a bunch before it would respond. Oh, here you go. That's full throttle. Man, this thing is fun. This thing's responsive now. You can still tell it's a 170 horsepower car. Like I said before, it's gonna take a good amount of engine work to make this fast, but it feels a lot more like snappy. Like you can actually use that 170 horsepower. Before, off the line, it was just kind of a slug, and then you would feel the power on the higher RPMs. Now it actually feels lower, which I like about it. I like cars that have a little bit more of a lower kick. I'm gonna switch it into sport mode and pull into this little side road where I know I can actually test it out. Oh shit. Yeah, sport mode gives it a good kick. Damn. Yeah, I like this now. This is definitely well worth the money. If you guys have like a newer kind of like hatchback like this, not even a hatchback, if you guys have like a newer like car and you want it to feel snappier, but you don't want to spend a bunch of money making it more powerful, I definitely recommend the Pel Commander. This has made a huge difference on the car. This is crazy. Before, you could drive the car fast. Like, you could really go ham on it just because it's a manual car and you can push it well. But now it actually feels like the car wants to go. Like, it doesn't want to just slug off the line. Yeah, I'm in fourth gear right now, sitting at about 2,000 RPM, 35, 40 miles an hour. And before, like, this is kind of a normal cruising speed to me. Before, when you would kind of like give it a little bit of throttle in this gear, you could feel it was like, doesn't want to go. But now it actually like, it still has a little bit of power left over. It's still not going to be like a 300 horsepower car, but you can actually accelerate in fourth gear now comfortably, which in my opinion is the biggest difference of all. Because this car before, my biggest issue with this car was it didn't have a lot of low end kick. The only time you get speed out of it is by really just hammering the shit out of it, going like 5,000, 6,000 RPM. Now you could be at a lower RPM and it still has a little bit of acceleration. It's not going to be doing pulls in fourth gear anytime soon. However, it does feel a lot better to drive. Yeah, so my end goal, it sounds a little ridiculous, is to make this car feel more like my E30 to drive. Basically make it feel more raw. And I know that's not very realistic because this is 30 years newer, it's 800 pounds heavier, it has more horsepower, but it has less low-end torque. But if I can make the car feel more raw and more responsive to drive, I'm happy. And yeah, the Pel Commander is doing that for me in the throttle section. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm happy with the Pel Commander. It increased my throttle response, it makes the car feel better to drive in a manual. Yeah, I definitely recommend this to anyone with these Imprezas or anyone with a similar car where it's like, it's hard to make them have more horsepower without a lot of money into the car. I definitely recommend this. Next thing to do is make the chassis stiffer. So definitely buying a chassis brace next. But yeah, I know this is a little bit shorter of a video, but I definitely recommend the Pel Commander. I know I'm hyping it up a lot and I'm not sponsored, just want to say that. I wish I was, but if you have a car like this, like I was saying, where you can't make a lot of horsepower without a lot of money, definitely get a Pel Commander. It changes the whole like driving characteristics of the car. Next thing I have to do is make the chassis stiffer and make her better in the corners, and she'll be a pretty good little car. My only issue is it's a little fat. She's a little on the heavier side. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to like and follow for more of this and all of these projects that I've got going on.